All right, a few technical difficulties here. Get started tonight. Reloaded my laptop last week and thought I had everything set up and obviously did not. So started the stream, couldn't get access to some of my stuff. Had to kind of exit and get going again. So what I did, let's go over here. And we've got some of this rebuilt. So if you remember, we created some IAM resources for Minecraft, primarily an instance profile, right? For the EC2 instance, we created a CMK, so encrypting everything that we want to protect. So we've got that done, and then we created our VPC. Okay, so we've got some various outputs here, and these are the outputs that I need to include in our template. Hey, Kevin. I'm not sure if you joined earlier and you noticed me struggling with a few things or not, but I got it going. So we're gonna take another run here at setting up Minecraft, and it's been long enough now that I kind of forget. I know we ran into some problems last time, and I can't recall what the heck the problem was the last time around. So we're gonna have to kind of probably run into the same problem again and fix it. We shall see, I guess, right? So I'm just going to, I need some of this information. So we're going to take this and we're going to drop it in here. Okay, we need the ID and a couple subnets. Okay, and this is for our EFS setup. There's our VPC ID, and then we want the two private subnets for our EFS setup. So subnet 1, or subnet 0 and subnet 1, drop those in there, and then we need the ID of the KMS key that we created. So we'll pass in the ARN for that as well. Okay, so there we go. And I'm just going to recommit this. And try this again. I need to put this in each time because the last time we built this, again, I can't quite remember why we decided to do this, but we're not using the imports. Remember, a lot of times we're using the intrinsic function import value, so we can take what we passed as a name from an export as an input into another template. And I'm not sure why we didn't do it that time. So, or why we didn't do it this time, but I didn't want to mess around with it, especially since I was having all those other weird issues tonight. So it's been one of those days in general. All right, so here we go. Creating our EFS file system, 2 mount targets in the security group. And remember, the mount target is really nothing more. What we're doing here is creating an elastic network interface, and we're putting that network interface in our example, 1 in subnet 0 and 1 in subnet 1. And that will allow the EC2 instance or instances in each of those subnets to mount that mount target and see it as a file system. Okay, so here we go. Let that run. You mentioned checking with some colleagues about security settings, I think, but I discovered with AWS Twitch channel. So my mind is swirling. Yeah, I know what you mean. There's now that you say that, I think it was something to do with when we were trying to mount the EFS drive on an EC2 instance that we created. We may run into the, well, yeah, I don't know. We're probably going to run into the same problem again, but let's just see what we find here as we get going. Okay, yeah, good memory. When you say mind is swirling, that's kind of been the day that I've had today in general. I was joking with some of the folks on my team as we wrapped our day up. I had to ask them to make sure that they understood what I was asking, because it felt like in my own mind I wasn't making sense as we kind of wrapped the day up and figured out what we needed to do tomorrow. And man, I don't know if it was too little caffeine or too much caffeine, but yeah, just kind of one of those days. The weather here has been kind of shitty all week. Quarantine. Could be a whole bunch of things all kind of coming together. All right, so this looks good. Probably not going to fail, at least. So let's jump over to EC2. And I would suspect that we have nothing left here. I normally blow everything up, yeah. So, oh wait, what was I looking at there? Owned by me. Yeah, we're good here. So let's go in. We're going to create an instance. We're going to do an ARM processor so we can use the Gs. And we'll just do a, I don't know, a T4G large is probably more than what we need. We're going to drop that into our Minecraft VPC. Doesn't really matter where we put it because we have SSM. So we're going to be able to get into the machine from there. We do have to give it the role. The rest of this doesn't really matter. We're going to change this to GP3, all right, the new default, and we will use the encryption key that we created, which I think is just, I think I just called it Minecraft. There it is. Okay, add some tags. I've gotten into the habit of just calling this, when I'm creating an image, I always call it an AMI builder. I don't really have any reason where I came up from that or where I came up with that. I just started using that as the default name. So I'm going to do the exact same thing here. I guess maybe one of the reasons I started doing this was it was really easy to clean up later. And I'm not going to give it any rules, okay? We don't really need any at this point. So we'll launch this, use the same demo key. We won't need that either. And we'll let this come to life. Give it a second. Oh, hold on. What have I done here? It's like I had this zoomed in. Oh no, okay, we're all right. I had this zoomed in. I did another webinar earlier today, and I wasn't sure. Yeah, it's 100%. Okay. So we'll give this a bit to come to life. There, it's still initializing. Let's go back over to CloudFormation and just see what's going on here. We should hopefully have that EFS file system. All right, there we go. Okay. So we can go over here now. And we should see there's our file system encrypted, really nothing at this point. Okay. Now, one of the things that we're going to do is we have to set up our mount targets for this. So let's do AWS. I think, Kevin, if I remember, this is where we ran into problems last time. And it's been so crazy over the last couple weeks. I know we missed last week. I haven't looked at this, so we're just going to have to kind of see where this ends up. And I'm realizing that I left Pretzel going, and it's now starting to get a little annoying. So let's stop that, which means I can lose these for a while. Oh, I've been wearing headphones all day. Okay, so EC2 instances using mount helper. Yeah, and this is exactly, I think, where we ran into some problems the last go around. So we've got mount helper. Simplifies mounting file systems. It includes the Amazon EFS recommended mount options by default. Additionally, the mount helper has built-in logging for troubleshooting purposes. If you encounter an issue, you can share those logs with support. Let's try this, because I think last time we went down the EFS utils path, which is normally what I use, and I don't have problems. So we may run into another stump here in a minute, but hopefully we can work through it this time and see what happens. All right, so let's do this. Mounting file systems using the helper, and we're basically down here. All right, so what do we need to do? Open a terminal and connect. All right, that's fine. We know how to do that. Connect. SSM. And we're good to go. We're on the machine. All right, what's next? Run the following commands to mount your file system. Mount minus EFS, and then the file system ID and our mount point. So we don't have a mount point at this point. We don't have a mount target, for lack of a better word. So let's do this. Sudo make dir, and we'll get really creative and just call it Minecraft. Right? So there we go. That's good. And we need now the file system ID. So if we go back over here, go to EFS. There's our file system ID right there. Let's just start with this. So mount -t EFS, the file system, and then our mount point. Alternatively, if you want to use encryption of data in transit, okay, let's mount it like this first with no encryption first. Let's see what it does. I want to do encryption, but again, I think this is why we were having problems before. I don't know. So let's try it. So sudo mount -t EFS file system ID. I read all that stuff and then I'm like, what? What was that? It's amazing. Okay, yeah, I was on the right path. Right? And then we're just going to say Minecraft. Unknown file system. So this means that we don't have something that we need on this machine. Let's go back. Yeah, okay. The mount helper is a tool in the Amazon EFS utils, which we didn't install. So let's do that. This is what we want right here, and it's this one we know how to do, right? Bang, we're good. So now if we go back here and run this again, access denied by server. This is what we ran into before. So now let's add in the -o TLS, I think it is. We should see the same response, right? Access denied by server. Okay. So let's go back here. -o TLS. Okay, there we go. I think that has to do with the fact that it's encrypted. Troubleshooting. These are all just different mount commands. So let's go here. Okay. Care about that. Let's look at this troubleshooting. This is what we're getting, right? This issue can occur if NFS does not have permissions to mount the file system. If you're attempting to mount file system using IAM, which we're not, right? We're just mounting it off the file system. Use the -o. This tells EFS to mount helper to pass your credentials to the mount target. If you still don't have asset, check your file system policy and identity policy to ensure there are no denies clauses. So I think what we've run into here is the dreaded KMS issue. Normally this means, so we're asking it to mount a file system that's encrypted. So that would mean that the EC2 instance profile needs to have access to the KMS key that we're using on the EFS file system. That's my immediate reaction. I'm going to leave this open because by the time we hunt this down, we'll probably have some data in here. Like I'm just looking at the error codes and looking for any access denieds. So this is 7:55, so 5 minutes ago. We know that we've ran that sooner than that. So what we're going to do, I'll leave that open because we're going to come back there. We are going to do some testing to see if we can get this to work. And then if we can get it to work on the command line, we'll take those, basically we're going to make some changes to the policy here and we'll add those back into CloudFormation. But rather than coding a bunch of stuff that I'm not quite sure if it's exactly the problem that we're having at this point, then yeah, why do all the coding? And you can see I've not picked up my toys. So let's do a little cleanup here. while we're in here. You can watch me pick up all the leftover stuff that's hanging around from other demos. All right, so that's a little cleaner. Might as well get those out of there. Now we're looking for a role. You know, we're gonna have to go back and actually the easy way to find this is to go to CloudFormation. Here's a weird little side effect that I've noticed since Amazon has put this search bar in, which I love, but I don't know if you noticed, I went up here and started typing. It's so close now, it's like I go to the wrong spot. So go here, IAM. This is what we're after. So this instance profile, and that's the role that's assigned to that instance profile. So let's pull that up. And all we have on here is this. That's why I couldn't find the policy. What we're going to do is we're going to create a policy ourselves. Okay. And we're going to look for KMS. We'll code all this in a minute. Now what I want is generate data key. And I'm just going to do this randomly because I kind of have an idea of what I think this might be. Decrypt and encrypt. Okay. And then we want to add this to a specific key. So let me open another, actually we'll go here and we can get that right here. This is the key that we created. Kevin, is any of this ringing a bell? I hope we didn't try this on the last stream, but I can't recall. Okay, so KMS is a service. We want encrypt, decrypt, generate data keys. Let's get rid of this. I don't think we're going to need any list stuff. Describe. I'm going to add describe key. No, you know what? We're going to do this absolute minimum and then just see if it still throws an error at us. We'll come back and add some other things. Okay, tagging. Here's our decrypt, our generate data keys. Okay, let's leave it with this. Okay, and we'll just call this Minecraft temp policy because we're going to nuke it if it works. And we'll create this policy. Okay, then we go back to our role, which I'll never find in this list again. So let's go over here, do the same thing, click on that. And we're going to attach another policy. And we'll just search for what we created. Okay. So now this gives us access through SSM. This policy will give the EC2 instance the ability to talk to the KMS service. And my thought here is that the reason that we're not able to mount that NFS drive is because it's encrypted. Okay, I don't know. I'm spitballing here, and yeah. Let's see what happens. So we'll go back over here. We'll leave off TLS for now. Look at that, fails immediately. The process, this looks new, but the process looks familiar. Yeah. Come on, CloudTrail. Throw an error here at me at least. Let's do this. Service. It didn't work, did it? Event source, that's what I want. And KMS. See if we see anything in here. Me creating a grant. See here, decrypt. See this instance? Let's just see what this is. 6A9. 6A9. So that's it. So you can see here, this is the EC2 instance, basically that role running a decrypt command. And that decrypt command, I would assume, is against the key that we just put in. So that's the key right there. This would be me creating, I think, the policy. Let's see if there's any earlier error codes here. Still nothing. Invalid state. That's long ago though, right? This afternoon. Let's have a look at EFS as well. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, Elastic File System, they call it. So this would be 10 minutes ago. This is probably when we were creating it. Right, because now these are getting really old here. Okay, let's do this. When all else fails, look at the logs if they exist. Doesn't tell us anything else, does it? Failed to mount. Yeah, nothing interesting there. Access denied. Hey, Gold Zulu, how are you, man? It's been a while. Yeah, it's just access denied. See, here, I'll just run the mount again. Maybe. Access denied by server while mounting, blah, blah, blah. It's a really pretty basic error. What's mount watchdog? That isn't anything helpful either, is it? All right, so let's go back and do, whoops. Just to grab this again. Not EKS, EFS. Let's see if we find anything here. That's ancient, so it's not like it's a new feature. This is connecting to an encrypted EFS file system. They're using EKS, but I wonder if maybe it would point us in the right direction. Yeah. I think this is too specific for, yeah, see all this, basically a Docker file, right? You're gonna run a bunch of scripts almost. This is a really odd one. Normally EFS is probably one of the easier things to do. Let's go back here and look at this. Mounting it, data encryption in EFS. We recommend you upgrade the version of S-Tunnel to your client to support host checking. But we're seeing this in both sides. Without encrypt, you know, that's actually, that's a really good point, Gold Zulu. Let's go back. Let's do the same thing here. Let's go over to EFS and create, and again, Kevin, you were on this stream. I don't know if we did this or not. Test EFS. Put it in the right spot, right? Regional. Okay, we'll let that come to life. And then we'll create the mount targets for it. Yeah, we are using an Amazon AMI. You got it. We're using an ARM. We're using an ARM machine instead of an x86. I think that'd be a long shot, right? That it's the fact that it's a ARM chip. I don't know. So many possibilities. So let's do this first, Goldzilla. This is an oh look, it's encrypted. Okay, encrypted by default. Okay. So it's using that. It must just encrypt it by default now. Well, let's let it finish here. Yeah, we're using Amazon Linux too. Okay, so let's do that, but then let's test another. At this point, I'm just kind of grasping at straws here because I can't figure out why this isn't working. Let's have another look at this. See if we see any error codes. These ones I don't care about. Nope. Oh, here we go. New client connection, access denied. A lot of access denied, and that's at basically right at 8 o'clock. Let's come back. Are there anything else? Okay. Well, that's at least something we can go on. Let's have a look. New client connection. Ten 44 242. Oh. Ah, perfect. Did it kick me out of everything? Hang on a second. You know, this was the other thing here. Watch this. I still haven't changed my just chatting screen, and I never remember until this moment when I need to switch off for my password vault. Okay, click, click. We lose all our windows here. That's the shitty part. All right, and we're back. What's the tear at the back? Are you talking about this? Right there, this little sliver right here? That's the end of my green screen. My green screen ends like right there. You're seeing the bookshelf in the back. Again, I just need a static background for this, right? Oh, don't even get me talking about multiverse and stuff. We just finished watching Tenet. Oh my god. I have no clue what the hell that movie's about. My wife and I literally just finished it, and we both just walked away, and I said I don't even know where to start. No clue what that was. All right, so Gold Zulu, missing a policy to access, maybe. Shouldn't be a firewall, because I think if it was a firewall, we wouldn't get access denied. We'd get a timeout, right? Because the security group wouldn't let the traffic through. We'd never connect. So since we're getting an access denied, I think our security group's okay. Tenant is awesome. Okay, well, I think we're going to need to take that to Discord sometime and have a chat about telling me why it's awesome, because I had a really hard time understanding what the hell was happening in that movie, man. All right, so let's EC2. So let's just rule this out too. I think this would be a long shot, but let's go here, launch an instance. This time we're going to leave it as x86, and we'll just do a T4 or a T3, I guess it is, right? We'll do a T3A. Can we get T4? No, T4s are the Gs. So we'll just do this, and we're going to dump it in exactly the same spot, right? Give it the same instance profile. Make this GP3. Change the EBS volume to Minecraft. And we'll just call this x86 just to tell them apart. We'll use our popular AMI builder. That's fine. Okay, and we'll give that a second to come to life for us. Okay, so this is our, let's make this, we'll just change this name so we can tell them apart. Okay, ARM versus x86. Yeah, brain does hurt, man. I was impressed. I impressed myself during the movie. I got this one part where I was like, oh, I know what's happening. That's this guy that now like inverted himself again, and that's him trying to tell one of the other guys something's going to happen. I got that, but the rest of it, no clue. No clue. Sometimes I think they just make time travel movies like that so they can just do whatever they want and don't really ever have to explain it. Can we? I don't think we'll be able to connect to this already. Oh, maybe we can. All right. It's alive. So let's do this. Sudo yum -y Amazon EFS utils, I think it was. Nope. Go back here. Amazon EFS. Oh, look, yeah. There we go. The install helps. So there's stunnel. Stunnel is greater than 456, so we're fine there. Oh yeah, look at there. Installed for dependencies. So I would assume that we have the latest version of it. And now we'll just do the same thing. Sudo make dir / Minecraft. And now we'll say sudo mount -t EFS. I don't remember the EFS. File system. We're going to start with our original one, this one right here. Okay. / Minecraft. Access denied. Yeah, yum install works better than just a random yum something, right? Okay, so then I would assume, sorry, let me, I keep going to that, and there we go. Okay, let's go here. No, that's the one, this is the one we created manually. All right. So sudo mount -t EFS, doesn't really matter. Oh, typos. Oh, I know why this isn't working. Gold Zulu, this is kind of more what I would expect if the security group isn't right. And are you laughing at me because I keep bringing my password vault up there? Yeah, not good. Hence why I don't open password vault on stream. All right, so see this? So let's go back over here. We can go here. Here's the security group. Oh, see, that's the same security group though. Or, oh, sorry, did I go? I went to the wrong one. Oof. See what I mean about one of those days today? Network. This is the default security group. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to EC2. So do it from, actually, let's go like this. Okay. And we're going to create the default security group. We nuke. So there really shouldn't be any rules, right? Inbound and outbound. Okay. And this is the one we're using. Oh, look at that. So we removed it from here. Oh, that's because this is brand new. Okay. So normally we would have a script that would go through and delete these. The reason we do that is because it's actually one of the security hub benchmark checks. And it'll throw an error at you saying it's not right. So what we're going to do is we are going to say create a new security group, test EFS. Okay, put it in the right VPC. Inbound, we're going to associate this to EFS. So in here, it's just NFS. And we want it to come from basically, open another window, basically the entire VPC, which I want to say is 10.10.0.0. But let's just check. Yeah, 10.10.0.0. So we'll go back over here and we'll say allow inbound from 10.10.0.0/16. Okay, and then outbound traffic is fine. Create. And now if we go back over here, we can say manage and give it the test DFS. Okay, we want that on both. All right. That should refresh. There we go, test DFS. So now if we go back over here, see this is still timing out. Mounted. So that means then the only difference between the two is one is using the service KMS key, right? So if we go back and look at this, encrypting, it's encrypted using an AWS provided Elastic File System key, okay? And if we compare that to this one, it's using our custom key. So that means to me, since we can mount the test DFS and not the other one, the only real difference between these is the type of key we're using. Progress. All right, let's test one other thing. Go back here. We'll say sudo umount Minecraft. Okay, and then let's just go back and do -o TLS. No problem. Right? I don't know why I ran a list command. And then you do it again just for fun. Jesus. Minecraft touch test.text. Oh, yeah, okay, that's fine. Yay, right? Works fine. Which key type works? The service provided key. So the AWS Elastic File System key. Our custom key does not. So that means to me that we are missing permissions on the key itself. So the key can't be used by EFS because we've already given ourselves permission to use that key from the EC2 instance, right? So I think it's the key policy assigned to it. So let's go back here. I never have any good luck doing this, but let's say AWS KMS CMK key policy for EFS. EFS. Ah. See what I mean? I don't understand these. Like, why aren't they just giving us an example? Okay, for example, key policies, C key policies. Okay. So we got to click again. Here we go. Okay. Optional, required, optional, required, 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 optional. Key policies are the primary way to control access to CMKs. For more information on key policies, okay, that's fine. The following list describes all of the AWS KMS related permissions supported by EFS for encrypted at rest file systems. Haha. All right, so that means if we go back here, right, here's our key policy. It's effectively nothing, right? We're basically just allowing management of the key. So we'll do this. And I'm just going to put a placeholder here because this should be, I would assume the service, but we're going to have to look that up. Okay, and then we need to put KMS encrypt, KMS decrypt, KMS re-encrypt. Let's add that even though it's optional. Generate data key without plain text, that's required. That's a long action, so we will cut and paste. Required adds a grant to the key to specify who can use the key and under what conditions. Okay, so let's add that, but I think if I recall, we have to add something else as well. KMS describe key. Okay, and then KMS list aliases. Now, this is what we need to figure out. You know, an easy way to do this might actually be go over here. Actually, let's just do it this way. Okay, KMS key. So who are the administrators? We'll assign this to a role, the role that I'm assuming right now. This guy. All right, so here we go. So these are permissions. Who can use this? Perfect. Other AWS accounts. I was hoping that we could find this. See this? How it's built this out for us? I was hoping we could find the service name that we need. Okay. Oh, well, Gold Zulu. I'm pretty sure I dream about these structures. They're all pretty much the same, right? So I'm gonna wing this, and we're gonna go. I have no idea if this is right or not, but we're gonna say IAM actions KMS, and this will give us. Oh, sorry, no, EFS. Sorry, this will give us the service name here. It's usually right at the top of this document somewhere. I'm just looking for the service name. Actually, this isn't the page that I want. That is. EFS latest. Oh, hold on. Actions. I'm going to change this to S3. It is so weird. There we go. This is what I want. Okay, so this is a really handy page. So you can look at all the different services and then see the actions, the resource, and the conditions for that particular service. And then you also get the prefix for the service itself. So what we're going to do is we are looking for EFS. It looks relatively ordered here, although we've got Amazon, we've got AWS, so let's just do this. File system. There we go. Okay, so it's just Elastic File System. So that's the first piece that we need. Elastic File System .amazonaws.com, I think. Okay, that's really all I was after. So now if we go back here, this grant thing is interesting. Like when you set this up for CloudTrail, you can actually put a condition in here that says allow only CloudTrail to use this. Let's have a quick look at it. Yeah. I don't think we need the grant. Like we don't tie a grant to something specific. There's the default key, and that's the one that's working. Okay, if you use a customer managed CMK as your master key for file data encryption, you can enable key rotation. Great. When you enable key rotation, that's fine. Well, maybe what we'll do is we'll just push this one change, okay? And then we'll test bit by bit and see what happens. So let's do that. And what we do in here is we're just going to say resource star for the time being. Okay. So now we've got management of the key. We've got EFS. It'll throw an error immediately if I've typoed the service name or anything like that. Okay. Gold Zulu, you have never seen KMS before, or you've never used KMS before. We use KMS all the time. And you know what, to be honest, this process that we're going through right now is kind of pretty typical. I just didn't think of it in the last stream. Didn't even enter into my head. So let's go back to, here's our Git server. Refresh. We should see a pipeline. There we go. There's our pipeline running. And we're going to go formation. And we should have an update to this. There it is. Right? So we're modifying the CMK and we're not replacing it. Which, you know, if we replaced it at this point, it really wouldn't matter. Well, actually, no, it wouldn't matter. Because we've got it assigned to those, the two AMIs that we're testing right now. But there's nothing on them anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Not a big deal. Give this a second. What we'll do while we're waiting for this is clean up some of our mess. I'm pretty sure this will be fine with the ARM processor. So we're gonna nuke this EC2 instance, the x86 one, which is probably gonna kill this guy. So we'll close that. Give this a second to update. Yeah, this is the fun part. This is where you need, like, I need to set up my Stream Deck so I can press like a button and it plays like elevator music, you know? Floor 3, kitchen appliances, dinnerware, and it's like just some calming music in the background or something like that. I built out a new template today for Elasticache, and there's a lot of moving parts to that, and it was the same thing, right? Like, and I was doing it right. I was like, oh, I could do this before going for lunch, and then it was like fail, and it has all sorts of little pieces in it. So the first piece would work, and I'm like, okay, success, and I'd be starting to walk away from the desk, and I'd turn around and look back, and it'd be fail, and I'd be like, pull me right back in, and I'd delete it and start again. That's what this kind of feels like as we're watching this update. Gold Zulu, my son has been watching iStream doing some crazy Minecraft stuff. Is iStream play some ads? Yeah, I don't have that many followers. I don't think I can do ads. Don't you need to be like at least an affiliate or something like that? And ads are I think we all get enough ads in our life. That'd be horrible, right? What's iStream? Crazy Minecraft stuff on iStream. I can always use another Minecraft streamer. Okay, so that's good. Let's go back over here and connect to this. Okay, so we should have our mount point still. Not mounted, right? Sudo mount -t EFS. And I need my EFS file system. And actually, we'll get rid of this one because I think we know root cause now. So let's delete this. I love these. Just copy and paste. Delete. And this is what we want. Okay. Minecraft. This is probably one of the hardest things you're gonna do in I almost said Minecraft. It's one of the hardest things you're gonna do in AWS is getting a key policy set properly. Let's go have another look at KMS and see if we've got any errors. See, this is the thing too, right? Like the EC2 instance is fine. So let's go file system. Access denied. Yeah, this is an odd one. Gold Zulu, you said something about a policy earlier on. I still don't think this is it, because when we used the built-in key, it worked fine, right? Oh, he's a Minecraft YouTuber. Okay. Yeah, the right motivation should be, it's definitely, well, you can see, it just makes everything more complicated. But, you know, once you do it the first time, and every service has its own little kind of tricks like this. A trick isn't the right word, but you know what I mean. You just, there's little kind of slight differences in the way you configure this. Once you get it done and codified, then it's fine. This has actually been one of the harder work throughs that I've had. Usually with EFS, you can find, or not EFS, sorry, KMS, you can find the issue pretty quickly and then just loop back and add it to the right policy. But yeah, this one's really interesting. See, we don't have to worry about this, I don't think. Create file system, create mount target. This can't be it, because we used the same access on the x86 machine. The only thing that we did differently was that we mounted the file system that had the built-in key, right? And we didn't have this policy because we were using the same instance profile. I don't think that's it. I really don't think that's it. You can use file system policies to control API access and NFS client access. So this is like a resource policy. This would be like the same thing as like an S3 bucket policy. I don't think we need it. I don't think we need that. Maybe it is the ARM. Well, you know what? I was kind of stupid, wasn't I? I blew away this. Let's just go back and do this. We'll let it recreate these. Okay. We can manage this. Oops, it's not even to life yet. There we go. Manage this. Can we add the? No, we can't. We got to wait for it to come to life a little more. I'll put in the same security group that we had on the other one, because this is going to come back with the default security group. So I'll dump the other one in, and then we'll retest from the ARM and see if it works. Still not alive enough yet. While we're waiting, let's go back to our favorite tool here and see if we have anything. Who knew building a Minecraft server would be so challenging? What's making this tough is I wanted to do a shared file system for it, and I don't even know if the shared file system will give us the performance we need. I just thought it would be an interesting stream. Silly rabbit. That'll teach you. Okay, so nothing there really except for these new client connections. Let's check KMS. Yeah, nothing here either. CloudTrail, could CloudTrail diff from Cloudwatch? Well, they're two different things, right? So CloudTrail is going to record all the API calls that are happening, and then you would use Cloudwatch for like service or application monitoring for the most way. CloudTrail, Kevin, is a really useful tool, regardless of how unuseful it's being tonight. I say to the folks on my team, whenever they have a problem, they're like, "Hey, have you ever seen this before?" I'm like, "Well, have you checked CloudTrail yet?" Because usually these error codes are quite handy. Like, you can flip through here and just find what you're looking for very quickly. That again is why I'm thinking it's not an API call at this point. It's a policy that's giving us a problem. Okay. So this drive should be ready by now. Let's test this one again. So manage, we'll get rid of these security groups, and we'll add back our test EFS, and we're going to need this file system name, and then we should jump back over here and say sudo mount -t EFS. Oh. Electronic funds transfer file system. Okay, it's not airing out immediately. Yeah, it works. So the ARM process, that's not an ARM thing, right? There is a, well, when you say a group one, no, I don't think there's any policy assigned to the service unless you add it. Okay. Like, you can go in here, if you look at the file system policy, that is that bucket policy, or that's that resource policy, so that they're blank by default. Okay. I wonder, are we able to see in here AWS managed keys? Haha. Allow access to EFS for all principals on this account that are authorized to use EFS. Maybe we made this too generic. This is what I was after right here, right? This is exactly it. All right, so, haha, progress. Isn't it weird how a brain, all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I know where to look for this. So let's change this. And we'll just say AWS star, I think is what they had in their policy, right? Encrypt, decrypt, re-encrypt. They've got a star there, so let's just make it exactly the same. Generate data key with a star, so we're going to go like that. Create grant, describe key. They don't have list aliases, so let's get rid of that. Now, this is where it's going to get fun, so let's do this. And we're going to do JSON to YAML. Too many curly brackets to figure out what's what. And we're after this. So they've got this other, allow direct access to key metadata on the account. We're going to add that as well. Okay. So that'll go under here. Condition, string equals. We're going to change this. We are going to use the ever handy sub command, and we're just going to say AWS account ID. So we'll sub that in. Elastic file system. We're going to do the same thing here, because again, there's things now that are hard coded in here. So we want to get rid of this, and we're going to make that AWS region. These bother me, so I'm going to get rid of it. And we'll fix all the weird ass spacing here from our cut and paste, because this is a new key. So we want to bring it back here. And then this looks like this. Doesn't look like I need these actually. We can just do that. Let's see if it throws an error. Principal, why is this showing me Oh, I'm still got in one. Right, there we go. All right. Let's update this again. Leave that just in case we have to go back. When in doubt, copy. Gold Zulu, you got it. Here's the thing that I find really frustrating with KMS. Why isn't that in the AWS documentation? Like, to me, that seems like something that, you know, we just spent a bunch of time going back and forth, trying it. But if you've got that policy that you need, why wouldn't you just put it in the documentation? I can't figure it out. You saw a few streams on CloudTrail seem pretty useful. The one guy would create intentional issues and then could really focus in on how and why. As a newbie, I was impressed with how well I was able to do the follow. Oh, that's really great, Kevin. Would you mind sharing who that was? I'm always interested in finding streamers, right? Yeah, Gold Zulu, why wouldn't that be there? That's the kind of stuff that, I don't know. It's easy to complain. It's probably a massive beast to deal with. So I'm sure it's really challenging, but it's frustrating when you're trying to figure something out and there's no good example of it. That's frustrating. Oh, Kevin, when you first joined, I was trying a new streaming solution called StreamYard. It's what AWS used the other day when I was on the Howdy Partner thing, and I thought it was really cool. But I'm on my Mac, and I actually stream from my PC, so I have that capture card that I've got plugged in, and I was fooling around with StreamYard, and I don't think it supports that. So, and when I tried it on my laptop, the fan on my laptop just went nuts. So it was working kind of, and then I decided to back out and couldn't get it to run back on Streamlabs. So I don't know what I did. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Gold Zulu. The tech doc guy is not the same as the dev. Yeah. W Giorgio uses StreamYard. I thought it was really, the interface is really slick. I don't know, have either of you or anybody on the stream heard of OBS Ninja? So OBS Ninja is basically the open source version, I think, of Streamlabs and of a couple other things. So you know, you're down in the plumbing a lot more if you use something like OBS Ninja. Totally works. I've used it for some of the podcast recordings that we do. That's how I do it, so I can get both the screens up, and I force it through Streamlabs to record, and it works really well. But you know, if you didn't want to have to deal with the plumbing of it, StreamYard is really cool because you've got the built-in layouts and you just click them and it changes the screens for you. It was really cool, right? Yeah, it runs on a Mac. Yeah, I run it on my Mac, but I tend to run OBS Ninja on my PC. Again, just because I find the Mac gets hammered, right? Didn't you cook your Mac, Gold Zulu? Streaming? I thought you said one time you basically just got it too hot. Was it OBS that did it? All right, so there we go. All right, so now, fingers crossed. Let's leave that open because I doubt we're done yet. We'll go back to EFS. We're going to get this mount target. And we'll unmount this. Okay, and then we'll say sudo mount -t EFS. We'll just start here. Oh, it was a bug, eh? So this can't be it because it's failing immediately. But I'm starting to really not understand what it is that we're doing wrong here. So let's go have a look at this security group just to rule it out. Yeah, so we're allowing TCP from the entire VPC, so that's fine. Outbound rules, we're allowing all outbound traffic. We got all of this in there now. Let's go look at, again, customer managed keys, Minecraft. Right, so we got CA Central 1, there's our account ID, their account ID, describe, get, revoke, which is essentially this. This looks exactly the same as what we have now, right? That's, you know, I took this ID off, but that doesn't really have anything to do with it. Missing parameters in the mount command. I got the mount command. And the install. Well, we grabbed this mount command right from here. Right? So we're using the mount helper, which basically, I think I know what you mean, Goldzu. Like normally the mount command is like a mile long, right? So we're simplifying it using the mount helper. What's this? If the EC2 instance and file system are mounted, you are mounting or located in different regions. No, we're not doing that, are we? No, we're in CA Central here, and the EC2 is in CA Central. Oh, sorry, I'm not in the right console in my EFS. Let's just double check. That would be something if it wasn't. Yeah, no, it's fine. Oh, the TLS? Yeah, I think it would. I don't think that's going to make a difference, but let's try it. -O TLS. I think it's going to fail, yeah. Right? Just gives us a slightly different message, but it's still access denied. Yeah. It's got to be something. It's got to be something in that key policy. You know, let's double check this key policy again. Maybe I typoed something. At this point, it's worth a shot, right? I'm known to typo things every once in a while. Allow, effect is allow, principal is AWS star, action is encrypt, decrypt, re-encrypt, generate data key, create grant, and describe key. If we go back here, effect is allow, principal is AWS star, encrypt, decrypt, re-encrypt, generate data key, create grant, and that. Resources star, and then condition. Basically, the condition is saying it must come from this account, and it must be this service that's calling this key, right? Is the way I read that. Elastic file system. We copied all this, and then we just substituted in the intrinsic function, so that's fine. This is a good one. Now I'm going to do the old, let's just try it again and see, because I have seen sometimes a policy sometimes takes a little while, like, you know, the idea of, no. I was just hoping that idea of eventual consistency would help us here on this one, but no such luck. Gold Zulu, you removed list all. Yeah, you mean from the key policy? I did the list aliases thing in here. We can add that back. So what we'll do is we'll go make sure I'm in the right spot, and we'll edit this manually. And in here we'll say KMS list aliases. I think is the other. That's what you're talking about, right? Describe get list. Well, we could do KMS just describe. Save that. Like it fails instantaneously. And this doesn't really show us anything. So Gold Zulu, have a look here. See what it's doing? It's adding in all those additional mount commands for us. Just do KMS star. Yeah, okay. At this point, maybe it's worth a shot. So let's say edit. Right? That's what you're saying. Allow all services KMS star on all resources as long as it's the Elastic file system. It's worth a shot. Okay, that's interesting. Did I click cancel instead of save? Okay, no, it's there. Maybe I just got to refresh. Okay, there we go. All right, Gold Zulu, this one's for you. Let's see what happens. You're always thinking positively. I'm ready to pick up the monitor and just hurl it. Now see, they're showing it here with a ./ Now, I don't see why that would matter because in the documentation, they don't have this ./. But desperate times call for desperate measures. If this works, I am going to chuck the laptop. No, okay, I'm not surprised. Well, I don't know what else this could be. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to finish. So this is just one part of the setup of this, right? The other thing that I was wanting to do was install the unified Cloudwatch logs agent and kind of get all that set up, because the idea was at some point, I'm watching you guys laugh in the channel, laughing at my, can you see the smoke coming out of my ears? Right? I'll open a ticket and I'll let Amazon explain this to me, because this is the second week now that this has kicked our asses. And I don't understand why we can't get this to work. So I need somebody smarter than me to say, oh, you just missed this. And then I'll post what we just missed, because I bet you any money it's going to be something really, really simple. So I'll get a ticket open for this one and see what happens. But in the meantime, I did think that one of the things that we could do once we got this running is stream the logs from Minecraft up into Cloudwatch logs, and then have like EC2 metrics and stuff like that, and maybe even build a dashboard or something. I thought it would just be kind of cool to see that. So why don't we, I think, fingers crossed, we can get that to work, okay? So let's actually do that, because this is getting to a point where I can feel like the rage emoji starting to surface. So what I want to do is let's clean up some of these so we can forget about EFS for a bit. And we're going to say AWS install unified CloudWatch log agent. Again, because this is really, I always forget what this is, what we have to do here. So we're going to actually do this through, I think, is this the page I want? It's kind of the page, but not really. This is the page I want. Okay, so for more information about using CloudWatch Log Agent, click here. So we're going to install the Unified CloudWatch Logs agent. Okay, hopefully. So let's do it. Let's try to do it at least. So we're going to do this. And we're going to do this through Systems Manager. Systems Manager, I love Systems Manager. I know we only have one machine, so what's the value of Systems Manager? I get it. But I like the idea that you get used to using this. You could manage an entire fleet of machines through Systems Manager. So this is what we want to do. We've already got the roles that we need for Systems Manager, I think. Okay. Actually, let's have a look. Okay. So we will need this added. Common use cases, enlisted policies, if necessary, use this. We've already got the managed core. Let's have a look at this because there's actually a couple policies that that we might use here. So let's have a quick look in IAM. And I just want to go under policies and we're going to search for Cloudwatch. Cloudwatch agent. It should just give a couple, okay? So you can see here, this is the permission required to use Cloudwatch agent on the servers, and this gives us full permissions. So the difference is this one, if we look at the JSON, see this part right here, get parameters and put parameters? The put parameter is the important one. This will allow us to store the configuration of the Cloudwatch logs agent in the parameter store, which is a feature of SSM, okay? So what I would normally do, this is the one that we would want all the time on that EC2 instance. You can see that it gives us some basic stuff and it allows us to get parameters but not put parameters, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to do two things. We are going to update our EC2 access policy and include this managed ARN, okay? So let's do that first. Close this, go to IAM, and we want to find it right here and just add it, okay? That's all we need. Now, yeah, that's all we need. So let's update that. Click. Go back over here, go to formation, and find our policy. Okay. So there you go again, right? Updating the role, it's modifying it, not replacing it. So we'll just execute that. Oh, you know another thing that we did? Remember I added that policy just as a test? I'm going to remove that just again because I don't think this is the problem. So let's clean it up so that it doesn't get too messy here. So we'll just delete this for now. Okay. And that's not what I wanted, right? I am. Okay, so the update's complete there. So if we go and have a look now, actually I want to do it this way because I'll never find that role. Right here, we should have that additional managed policy assigned, right? So there's the agent server policy. What we're going to do for now though is also just manually attach Cloudwatch agent. There we go. We're going to attach the admin policy. And I do this on the first machine because I need it to be able to write to the SSM parameter store service. So when I'm done with this, I'll just remove this policy. Okay, so let's go over to SSM. And what we want to do is find the run command, and then we want to click run a command, and then we want to flip through here and find, I want to say it's configure AWS package, but let's just double check. This is why I always have to look in the documentation. So, okay, that's the IAM role. And this is what we want here, and we want to install it. They're showing here just getting access to the machine, but I like to do this. Installing, configuring. Here it is. Yeah, AWS config package. And this is the name of the package that we want to install. So if we go back over to here, click that. Don't click this. Click the little radio button. Okay, I always change this to the latest at runtime, just in case. We want to install. The name of the package is this. Optional. If you don't specify it, it uses the latest version. That's fine. Any additional arguments? Nope. We only have a single machine, so we're going to just manually select it. And we won't output anything to S3 at this point, right? And we run it. And there we go. Success. Okay. It works. So that means the Cloudwatch logs agent is installed. So we managed to at least accomplish something. So if we go over to the EC2 instance and jump back on the machine, if we go to varlog Amazon now, we should see SSM there, right? So there's SSM logs, and here's our Cloudwatch. Oops. Okay, there we go. So we've got logs here, and we've got Cloudwatch log agent up here. Now what we need to do is actually configure this and store the configuration. So I'm going to exit out of there, and then what we need to do is, if we scroll to the bottom here, we want to, maybe it was one page back. We want to run a command to actually create, oh, maybe this, download and configure. Yeah, this is it. So create the Cloudwatch log agent config file. And we want to do it using the wizard. Okay. We don't have to worry about the access keys because we have this set up in the IAM role. Okay, so if we scroll down, we'll come back and look at this in a second. But the command is down here. So we're just going to copy that. And we're going to run it here, and we're just going to walk through this. So a bunch of defaults, Linux, EC2, we'll run it as root. We'll use the stats daemon, ports. What's the interval? 10 seconds, sure. Do we want to aggregate this? We're going to aggregate it on a 60-second interval. And do we want to collect metrics from collect D? I say no here. I just use stats D for this. Okay, and then what do we want to collect? Do we want to get host metrics, CPU, memory, etc.? Yes. Do we want to collect it by cores? Sure. Do we want to add any additional dimensions? So this is a way, again, that we can, in Cloudwatch, just look at metrics in different ways. So we'll say, if you have those dimensions, then use them. How often do we want to collect those metrics? 60 seconds. Now this is where you want to make a decision: basic, standard, advanced, and none. If we go back over here and you just scroll up a bit, that's what these tables are, right? So we are running right here, an EC2 instance running Linux. So basic, standard, advanced. Let's do advanced. We'll see swap usage, net stat information. What's the difference here? CPU, disk I/O. The only thing that we're not going to see is TCP information, but we have basic network information already. So let's just do standard, right? Because most of this we might be able to get just from built-in Cloudwatch. So we'll say standard instead of advanced. Okay, so standard. This is the config file that it's going to create. Looks great to me. And then we can go ahead now and say, do we want to, oh, sorry, I'm one step ahead of myself. We don't want to import anything. This is what I was thinking of. Do we want to monitor any log files? Unfortunately, at this point, I don't have the latest log file that Minecraft creates. So we are going to say for the time being, no. We're going to configure this. Once we get Minecraft going, we'll come back and redo this in a minute. Do we want to store this config in SSM? And this is really handy because once it's in SSM, if I ever brought up another Minecraft server or whatever, I don't have to reconfigure it, right? I can run this and say, oh, use this config file in SSM, and it will pull it down and set it up. So we're going to say yes, and then it asks for a name. Now, if you look at our policy, if we go back over here and we go to the role, oh, sorry, they've changed it. It's here now, right here. And we look at the permissions that we added, this one right here. Amazon Cloudwatch star. So if you name it with anything other than this, it won't be able to run the put command. You could change this if you want, but generally what I would do is I'm going to go like this. I'm going to say Amazon, hopefully I spell this right, Cloudwatch. I don't want to say Linux because this is specific, so I'm going to say Minecraft. And hit enter. It's going to say, where do you want to store it? It's going to match up with our region. Enter, enter, bingo. Okay. So this is actually, that's the access key that the instance profile got when it basically made this call, right? And now if we go back over here and we go back to SSM, we go to the parameter store, which is up here. Oh, look, I hate when it does that. Change the region on us. I'm like, oh, we should have one here. There we go. Amazon CloudWatch Minecraft. And there's all the configuration that we did, right? When we went through that wizard. So once we get our EFS issue sorted, I will come back and we'll run this again. And then we'll say, okay, where is the Minecraft log, right? /Minecraft/ logs, I think it is. And we'll grab the log file out of there and push all of that data up into Cloudwatch logs. Then we can do some cool things like monitoring and notification. Somebody joins the Minecraft server, we can create what's called a metric filter and watch for joins and then generate an outbound notification or something like that. Okay, so I was kind of thinking that's where we would get, but EFS is kicking our ass again, so we'll have to wait and figure that one out, and then next week when we come back we'll hopefully get this sorted out. So I think I'm going to call it a day here. At least we had one success here, right? We were able to actually get at least the Cloudwatch monitoring set up, and let's call it a day. Thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate the patience as we kind of scratch our heads on this one to try to figure it out. I will talk to one of the guys tomorrow, but I'm going to open a ticket now that it's refreshed in my mind. So thanks for hanging out. We will be back on Thursday to actually play some Minecraft instead of building servers for Minecraft. So we'll see everybody back on Thursday. And Kevin, you'll love what we've built. I've been playing a little bit off stream, trying to get the trading post built up way up in that mountain, and it's been quite the build project. So I'll show you to on Thursday night, 7 o'clock. Okay. And Gold Zulu, good to see you, man. It's been a while. All right. Take care, everybody. Stay safe out there. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.